Hello, beautiful souls. I'm back again today after taking this video in the forest where Perry is, the tree that I like to connect to. And there were lots of birds singing, so I thought I would just share. I hope the audio stays with me doing a sound over the audio of the birds in the background and just sharing this forest with you again. I think it's lovely if you don't have the opportunity to be in a place like this to just see it in front of you and experience it through my eyes. And today I'm sharing a very short story about a fairy on my weekly Wednesday call with my two friends. One of my friends, just as we were beginning, said, "Oh, just a minute, there's a hornet or a wasp on my window, and I just want to catch it and put it outside before we start." And I found it very interesting because the day before, I had to do the very same thing. I had no idea how it had gotten into the house, but there it was. And it reminded me about an event that I had talked about in my book, and I won't tell the whole story here, but it was about learning from wasp and having wasps build a nest and start coming into my house. And so I was just sharing that story with them. And then I looked up onto my bulletin board and I noticed an image I have there. It's painted by a woman, Autumn Sky, who does incredible paintings. And it's a painting of a little boy holding a big, huge, either hornet or wasp in his arms, like he's protecting it and looking after it. And the card is about tenderness. And so I just shared with them this image, and they both were very moved by it. And then, just as we were about to begin the light language for our call, one of the women said, "Jane, I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt, but I see a fairy over your shoulder." And it's like, she said, "I guess it would be fairy dust, this sparkly dust around this fairy that's with you," which was very exciting for me. And a couple of days later, I realized it was probably a fairy that I named Sarabella, or that's what I felt she was giving me as her name, who wanted to come home with me one day after I was at the river. And I have another fairy video that I recorded at the river. And so I connected in with her and just wanted to know if she had a message for us. And the message was about hornets and wasps, and probably arose from us looking at that image of this little child, like holding it like it was protecting this precious species on our earth, because as we know, the bee population is not what it used to be, and it's a sign that nature is really in need of support. And so we can feel very pulled into that and lost in that when we're people who really care about nature. And the message that this fairy wanted to give to me, she shared it with all of us, was not to mourn the loss that we are going to see of species that currently live on this earth, because it is a part of the great falling apart. It's part of this shift of the era. And she said that the species that are leaving are going to be replaced by species that are even more beautiful. And she said, for example, you're going to have hornets that are blue with green stripes and opalescent wings. And it was just like, it sounded like something that you would see in a fairy book, something that colorful and that beautiful. And so I just wanted to share that message with you all. She said, really, it's important for us not to mourn the loss of the species, but to celebrate the evolution of new species that are ready to be upon this earth. And when you think about it, we as a human species are changing. Our bodies are changing from carbon to crystalline in nature. And pardon me, we're holding higher frequency. I'm feeling a huge shift just in the last few days again about this great calm and peacefulness in my life. It's a reflection of the new humans that we're becoming. And the whole earth is shifting and changing in frequency. So, other species, it may look like they're dying off, but in reality, perhaps they are just shifting as they're here as an evolving species, and they're carrying new colors, just like we are carrying new colors, I'm sure, in the radiance that we emit as we become more and more evolved and move into higher frequencies of this human experience. And I know many people are saying that we've never been this before on Earth, we've never done this before, to become a new race without actually having to completely leave the Earth and start over. And so it makes sense that other species on this planet would be doing the same thing. So the whole message was not to mourn the loss. And I think this could apply to everything we're seeing happening in the world, but to celebrate the moving into a higher aspect of all life upon this planet and all that that will mean for us. Living in a world where people love and care for one another and where nobody's left behind and where the beauty of nature is fully restored. Who now knows how nature would have evolved had humanity not interfered so much or stepped away from our connection to nature, which then created that divide for us. And now we're in a time where it's all coming back together. So as the old world falls away, it's really showing that the new world is coming together and bringing us back into unity consciousness again, where we're all pulled back to nature. So many people are leaving cities now. One of the things that's happening for me in my life is the house I'm living in has been sold, and so I have to find a new home by the end of July. And I've been looking since March, and I haven't found anything because the rental, it feels like it's probably 0.5% availability. There's so many people moving to this area where I live. Every day when I go online to look for a new place, there are 8 people looking for a home and 1 home listed, for example. So it's just really showing how many people are returning to a more rural way of living. And to me, it's symbolic of a deeper connection to nature that people are looking for. This is what's unfolding now. And so if we can remember to rejoice in what all the dissolving of the old world means for the new world, I believe we can navigate it much easier. So thanks for being present with me. And also, I just want to say if you're listening to this in June 2025 when it's being recorded and there are less messages from me, it's because I have a few things going on in my life, not just the move. So it may mean a few less videos, but I will gladly get out into nature and share that with you as I can. Sending so much love to you all and just inviting you to keep your focus on what we're creating as you're seeing me here walking up to Perry to just connect with him. Focus on what we're creating in this new world where we truly are in communion with all of nature. And more people are opening up to this ability to do this. And even if it just begins with your interest in being outside in nature more and connecting to nature more, that's a beautiful way for us to walk in ease and grace as we make this transition into our new reality, because being in nature just brings us home to our true self. It really helps us remember who we are, the frequency of nature. I'll just add one more thing. Yesterday, a friend and I traveled north on Vancouver Island and we went to see a falls that was like in an area where there's very little population. There's campgrounds and there's a big park, but hardly anybody lives there. And I could feel the difference being out of the frequency, the electromagnetic frequency. Even though I'm in a small town, it's nothing compared to a city. But being there with just trees around and forests and lakes and this waterfall that we went to see, I could feel the difference in my body. I often hear buzzing in my ears when I'm home. I hear it right now. And when I was there, I didn't hear it at all. So that's another thing to rejoice when we bring in this new world and the old world falls away. We won't have harmful technology. We'll just have technology that's beneficial to the earth and beneficial to all life on it. So let's just dream that dream together and allow our imaginations go into something beautiful and marvelous and wonderful and generous and loving and kind. When we see the old world falling apart, to just know that it needs to go in order for this new world to rise up. Sending so much love to you all. Thank you for listening, being present, and connecting with nature and loving nature as much as you feel called to. So much love. And just adding, check out my book, Conversations with a Tree. I'll put the link below. All the chapters are up now.